Well, hello again and glad to have you aboard for another AirSim3D C-560XL tutorial. This tutorial is about one of my favorite topics, using the authentically modeled, real 3D lighted, fully customized, fully functional, and F-modded, wait, can I say that? F-modded as a verb? Anyway, real world sound recorded auxiliary power unit, or APU for short, and the highly customized GPU or ground power unit. Okay, the APU first. As we discussed in tutorials 2.2, this jet does not necessarily need that the APU be running to start the aircraft. So unlearn that habit from your previous and other aircraft operating experience, please. As we are fond of saying and demonstrating, this aircraft has its own set of procedures. Every aircraft is different. So thank you for watching these tutorials to learn how to operate it. It's worth mentioning at the onset that the aircraft has 2 pages of APU start and shutdown steps in its checklists. Please look them over. However, I do need to highlight some very important and critical things about this jet's APU, so let's run through those items. To begin, make sure that the avionics switch is on, or you will not see any information in the APU panel. The APU starts by first turning the master switch on, then using the start switch in the up position until you see the RPMs pick up, and you'll hear its custom sounds spooling up too. So why is that not happening? No, you're not witnessing a bug. It's a safety feature on the APU unit. It's not starting because either the bleed air or the generator switches are not correctly positioned. They should both be in the off position or the starter switch will not move. Now, hold the starter switch to the start position and the APU will spin up as seen by the building RPMs. And now sit back and enjoy the custom APU sounds as that happens. Once the APU is up and running, turn the APU's generator on, but only if the engine or the GPU generators are off, and this is important. You should never have or use more than one generator source running at a time. So it's either the engine generators, the APU generator, or the GPU generator. You can have the engines, GPU, and APU all running at the same time. Why would you do that anyway? But anyway, if you decide to do that, use one generator source only. Why? Well, using more than one generator, especially if the main battery voltage is low, might cause the battery to overheat, and we covered all of that in the last electricals tutorial. And then get ready to answer your FBO accountants for why you are wasting fuel and running up operating costs by running 3 generator sources. Why would you do that? By the way, here's a quick real-life story for you. When discussing APU operations with one of our real-life pilots, he informed us that they are really mindful of when and why they run the APU in a small aircraft like this one, because it costs the FBO about $60 just to start it up and stop it, let alone the added fuel costs while it is running. So do as real pilots do. Be mindful of what generator source you really need to use. Next, once it has started, wait. Be patient until the unit starts and its bleed source and generator annunciators are lighted before you turn those functions on with these switches. Next, this might sound upside down at first, but it is in keeping with the design that says no annunciation means all is well. What does that mean? So if you have the APU running, pay attention to this button labeled APU Gen Off. If it is lighted during its operation, it's telling you that the APU generator is offline. You see a lighted annunciation drawing attention to itself. This may be the desired condition by the pilot, but this annunciation will go off. That is, it'll go dark when the APU generator is on. Like I said, a little bit upside down, but that's how it works. Next, when the APU is running, it draws fuel from the right or the starboard wing fuel tank only, and this will cause an imbalance of the aircraft over time. Please refer to our weights and balance tutorial to learn how to fix that. Just follow the checklist and you should be fine. The APU has its own amp meter, We just love the real 3D lighting operational glow that the APU panel casts at night. We hope that you do too. Remember, these are all real individual tuned and custom colored real light beams. There are no fake 2D Photoshop lit textures to be found anywhere in this aircraft. Obviously the sounds are all real recorded sounds. And yes, the panel dims with the right side panel dimmer dial on the lighting panel. If you are unfortunate to see that the APU is on fire, the APU will automatically shut down for the rest of the flight and not be available anymore. And on the bottom left of the panel, don't miss the APU use meter. It tells you how long the APU has been running. And remember to see the README when you're installing an aircraft update if you wish to carry this number forward to the update, but that's all up to you. Now to shut the APU down, move this switch to the stop position and hold it in that position until the RPMs start to drop. This is another safety feature that was designed to avoid inadvertent and unplanned, oops, I hit the switch by mistake type of scenarios. So it needs to be an intentional action to shut down the APU on your part. And here's another example of the many little attention to detail authentic features built into this aircraft. Okay, with that, I'm going to now change to a cold and dark state. There is a separate tutorial for all of this. And I'm doing this because I want to demonstrate starting the GPU and shutting it down, since this is not in the checklists and it's not really a part of the jet itself. So with it connected, notice all the exact modeling, wording, grunge, color, and labeling of the GPU, even small reflectors where they ought to be. Its materials are all PBR, physically based rendered materials. So check out those thick cables and the shines that they have. Open this panel. Once the panel is open and the arrow now changes to a hand, scroll, not click, scroll anywhere on that panel. And notice also that the panel is all real world worded and authentic. Now one of two things is going to randomly happen, and this is the fun part. Either you will see and hear the GPU start up with its flashing yellow unit operating light. This means that the GPU is now functioning normally and powering the jet. Or you will see a steady blue low fuel light and no sound, indicating that the unit has not started because it is low on fuel. In this case, you will need to just be patient and wait while the ground crew refuels the unit. And this could take up to 1 minute. But then, once they are done, they will automatically start the unit for you, and that changes the operational sound and lighting, and the GPU will be up and running normally. So there you have it, a little added bit of real-world GPU operational immersion from our authentic, highly customized GPU unit for you. Not many other aircraft offer this custom GPU experience, but we enjoyed building it and we hope you enjoy its custom experience. The practical implication of starting the GPU is obviously to be able to run all aircraft systems for free with no electrical cost. In other words, with only the GPU running, you can have the avionics on with no onboard generators working for no battery power depletion. Starting the engines with the GPU running is just like any normal engine startup. Follow the checklist as you would normally and all will be well. Oh, and one last thing. This aircraft has no GPU connected or disconnected warnings in the cockpit. So be sure to shut the GPU down and stow it by disconnecting it like this. To shut the GPU down, assuming it is not blue lighted, you have a choice to scroll or click the panel, or click the big red stop button to its right, and the unit will power and shut down. Then disconnect it. And by the way, you cannot disconnect a running GPU, so first shut it down. Shut the glass panel. Use the down arrow on the panel to remove the GPU. Close the GPU access panel, and there you are, you're good to go. Now you'll notice that the chocks and cones may disappear depending on the overall state of the aircraft, but again, that's the job for the ground crew, it's not a pilot task. And so there you have it. Authentic, accurate, custom labeled, modeled, and 3D lighted APU and GPU units for the C-560XL. Safe flying, and may you always have great power, electrical power, get it? Anyway. Anyway, I'm out. See ya.